It's big, it's rigid, that's enough for me. Dark Imperium, the ultimate Warhammer 40,000 boxed set. Or is it? Well, if it's going to make such a lofty claim, then I think there's a couple of things we need to do before we even open the plastic. So first things first, let's compare it in size to previous editions. So here we have the boxes for 3rd and 6th edition, alongside the new 8th edition, and as you can see, they are all exactly the same size. So I have to tell you that's not a great start if it's looking to be the ultimate Warhammer 40,000 boxed set. You'd expect it to be at least slightly larger to be making claims like that. But as we know, it's typically not about size, it's about what you can cram inside the box. Plastic gone. Now I've been reliably informed that it's a slightly different kind of box from the previous editions. No longer do we just have a simple top and bottom sections to the box, it's now much more complicated. First of all, we have a sleeve. Within the sleeve we have a box containing a box containing a book containing another book. So let's start with the first box that greets you within the main box, where I believe all the miniatures are housed, as I can see them just poking out the little crevice there. Now if we refer back to the sleeve here, you can see exactly how many models are in there, which is quite a substantial amount. If we compare and contrast with Dark Vengeance, then you're getting a similar amount of Space Marines, a few characters and some squads, and then on the Chaos side you get a vehicle, some feeble troops, some powerful troops, a lord, so pretty much what you would expect from one of the new starter sets. But of course the quality of models gets better every time, because that's just the way GW roll. So here's the back of Dark Vengeance for reference, and you can see there's probably a very similar mass of models in there, which I should point out is a lot more than you used to get in the old boxes, this being 3rd edition, and look at that, not very many in there at all by comparison. You only actually get 11 Space Marine models in this box. So this is definitely up to the modern standard in terms of number of models. In terms of quality, pretty much unmatched. In terms of starter sets, they keep raising the bar each time they release a new one of these, and this is definitely no exception. I'm sure you've all seen all the images of them by now. People have got fully painted armies ready at this stage. So in terms of number of sprues, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the small sprues, and 2 large. At first glance I would say they're a little bit more complex than the Dark Vengeance models, which only came in just a couple of pieces each. It looks like on these you will have to attach at least one leg to each model, and the guns will be attached by way of a few different arm pieces, rather than just a body and then maybe one arm to attach, which is what you're looking at in Dark Vengeance. There wasn't a lot of complexity to those, so definitely more to this set. Whether that makes it less beginner friendly, you could definitely make that argument. But is 40k the game they want for their beginners? That's an entirely different debate for another time. So for me, the main selling point of this starter box is the mammoth rulebook you get with it. In the previous editions, you certainly did not get the full-size rulebook. You just had a little pocket-sized version, which, while handy, obviously lacked a lot of the backstory, which people like, and there's nothing quite like a nice, firm, rigid hardback in the hand. So that cranks up the value of the content in this box immeasurably already. And by immeasurably, I mean you could measure it with 100% accuracy just by looking at the price of this book on GW's website. So we may have slightly different definitions of immeasurably. So on this game's quest to be the ultimate Warhammer 40,000 boxed set, then in terms of the miniatures, on quality alone they definitely take the cake there, so they're living up to the claim. The rulebook, full rigid hardback, the biggest available rulebook you can get, so that's a definite tick in the ultimate box set column. And I'm going to do a full video when I've been through this book and analysed its deep, deep dark crevices. But for now, it's big, it's rigid, that's enough for me. We also have this little core rules fold out thing as well, which is handy. These are the same rules you can find on the free PDF on the GW website, but it's nice to actually have them in your hand. And it'll be a nice handy reference guide during the game, so you're not referring to the massive tome constantly. We also have these little mini codexes for the Primaris Marines and the Death Guard, the two armies contained within the box. So when you combine this with the fact that they've released rules and points for every available model in the range at launch, then when you look into the back of these books and you see that you actually have point values for all the units you get within this box, that's very, very handy. You can immediately just ally them in with your existing army without having to wait for a full codex. So these are nice, handy little additions and definitely push it closer to its claim of the ultimate Warhammer 40,000 boxed set. Definitely doesn't hurt. A big sheet of Space Marine transfers, which will be of no interest to me, but I'm sure some people find them very handy if they enjoy putting the chapter squad markings on their models. In the final compartment of the box we have all the other little accessories, for example this bag of dice. Now you don't get very many dice in here, but they are different to all the previous dice, which is a nice touch. We're so used to just having black or white dice, it's nice to see something that's actually got a bit of colour to it. Nice translucent red with silver pips on it. Bags of bases, whoop-de-doo. Now, this is a deeply controversial tool. No longer do we have whippy sticks. We have a 12-inch ruler. As you can see, over the years I have amassed quite a collection of both the red and blue sticks, which are not exactly the same size, as I've pointed out before. So it doesn't bother me that this version of the game doesn't come with any of these, because I'm already well stocked. Maybe new players will never know the pain of being whipped directly in the eye with one of these red sticks. And maybe that's a good thing, but I don't know, I think it toughens you up and teaches you some valuable life lessons about not misusing tools that you're given. I'm sure you could give someone a severe rap on the wrists with this thing, but I'm not sure it's going to do too much damage. I mean, it's nice that you can see through it a bit, although it didn't really matter that you couldn't see through these things because they were so thin anyway, you weren't going to obscure the view of anything. But it's nice to see them trying something different, I suppose. Only 12 inches, so of course you will need a tape measure along with this, unless you're using nothing but incredibly short-range weaponry. So in terms of the measurement devices, I'm going to say that's a mark against it being the ultimate Warhammer 40,000 box set. I would say the previous editions, with the lovely whippy sticks of death and eye removal, were probably a little more exciting than just a ruler. Overall though, that's only one minor criticism of what is clearly the ultimate Warhammer 40,000 boxed set. The giant rulebook, the quality of the miniatures, I would say that definitely pushes it firmly in the direction of being the best box set so far. Whether this particular set of rules, or the follow-up models that they come out with, are going to measure up to previous editions, that remains to be seen. But, right out of the gate, the future isn't looking so grim.